Okay, today is the not today. This is the brief, super fast edition of my vlog. Although I already did a long-winded version of it. So, first of all, the background noise that you hear is because there's construction going on with my neighbors. They have like two bobcats working, and it's very loud. And it's actually quieter right now than it has been for most of the day. So hopefully that continues. Yeah. Secondly, I'm using a Creative Labs I am live webcam and I hate it, and I'm going to try something by Logitech or anybody other than Creative Labs because I've always hated Creative Labs as a company, and I think that they totally suck and you should never buy anything from Creative, and don't make the mistake that I did. The only good thing about this camera is that it's good at taking still shots, but it's not great. And why do you want a webcam for still shots? You don't. You want an actual digital cam for still shots that you can walk about with and stuff, you know? You want a webcam for actually doing, motion. And look what happens when I try to do motion. See? You're only seeing like a blur. Of course, part of that is because, in here it's sort of dark. But it doesn't matter. Take my word for it. I've tried all sorts of different lighting solutions. It doesn't matter if it's bright as the sun. It only gets 4 to 5 frames per second. Okay, this is totally ridiculous. So, especially if you like to be in a more subtly lit room, not a dark room, but one where you have indirect lighting and stuff, this is definitely not the webcam for you. And especially if you want to take video, which is actually video, people moving. If you want to just basically stay still and do nothing, then sure it's for you. But even if you talk, your lips are going to look out of sync, and it's going to be looking really pathetic. You'll have to take my word for it for now, because I don't feel like putting my face on the camera. Well, moving on very quickly, there's a Mega 10 MRMorg by Area Games or somebody like that called SMT Imagine. It's in closed beta right now. You can probably still get in. The beta is free, and the game itself will be free when it finally comes out. But it will be free to play, but you'll have to pay money to spend, to buy different things in it. Right now, the beta, in my opinion, has a ton of problems. The least of which is that a lot of it is still in Japanese. That's the least problem. There are a ton of big problems which I think may be fundamental to design, and I don't think they're going to fix. But I was playing it for about 3 or 4 hours, and that isn't really that long to play it. Some people are up to level 20. In my short span, I only got as far as level 4 or something like that. It has the basis of being a good game, but it is, I wouldn't say glitchy, I would say it's haphazard. It seems like the people who designed it just threw stuff randomly together and were high at least 98% of the time, and are yeah, whatever, man. That's the impression I get from it. But I think that's what passes as software nowadays, so it might not really be, that any of the other MMORGs are any better. Probably if I played World of Warcraft or something, I'd probably feel the same way. But I don't know, I've never played World of Warcraft. But just for reference, I prefer StarCraft to Warcraft 3, because although Warcraft 3 uses a newer, better engine, I like the top-down view of StarCraft, and StarCraft just plays faster. I don't really care that Warcraft 3 looks better. Even on a fast system, Warcraft 3 sometimes sounds slow down. So does StarCraft. But StarCraft is it just feels better. It uses less resources. It makes me happier to play StarCraft than to play Warcraft 3. But, I know I'm in the majority of that. A lot of people would, much prefer Warcraft 3 to StarCraft and stuff like that. So, what is there to do? But I think pre-rendered graphics generally can look better because the artist can spend a lot more time putting in a lot of little details that make a big difference. I don't like the whole blocky way that on-the-fly rendered graphics tends to look, and I don't like the clipping issues that you tend to get. And if you could do, real-time graphics without those problems, and if you could give me a game that I can play in, basically, well, I don't think Warcraft 2 is a bad game, but I'm just saying that I prefer StarCraft. And actually, I have something against StarCraft, which is that you have to micromanage a lot. I don't like micromanaging at all. I think you should be able to use AI even if you have to spend in-game money on it. Your AI should at least be as good as the enemies, and you should be able to focus just on strategy if it's a strategy game. Those games are all about not even tactics, operations. When you have to manually tell somebody, no, stop running into a trap all the time, then it becomes much too tedious. And I wish I could post video of that, but I haven't figured out how to capture StarCraft video yet. So we'll get to that later. Did I mention Innocent Sin? Yeah, there's a fan translation of Persona 2 Innocent Sin that's been out since about mid-July. I've been playing through it and 15 minutes into it. Capturing it has been a problem. Trying to capture stuff with trying to screen capture with virtual dub so far for me has been epic failure, and Cam Studio has been even more epic failure. So I had a version of Cam Studio that was configured and working, but mysteriously it stopped when I reinstalled Windows XP on this faster hard drive. So everything else works better. Cam Studio, on the other hand, doesn't work at all. I'm thinking maybe I was using an older hybrid version of Cam Studio, because there are at least 3 of them. There's 2.0, 1.52, beta 1 or something like that, and something else. So I probably have to try and experiment and see if I can get something working properly. But even when it worked well, it always used to record choppy, and Innocent Sin itself, Innocent Sin itself is okay, but I have to use an emulator, and that's really the basis of the problem. I don't really like playing things in emulators, but I have no choice since there's no official English version of Innocent Sin. And what Atlas US should really do is license the version that Tom and Gemini did. You know, pay them a bit of money, license the game, fix that saving bug, or don't fix it, because it isn't really showstopper, and just release that game as an official product, the same way how they're officially reprinting Eternal Punishment. That would make life so much better for everyone. I mean, what is wrong with those people? Atlas just doesn't seem to have a clue. Yeah. So my major project right now is building a studio so that I can build stuff, including the videos, which I'll continue to make for free. But I want to do stuff that will generate income for myself, and I have a vague ideas about that and specific ideas about that, but they don't really matter unless I can actually set up things that I can do some work. So I'm working towards that. As you can tell, it's very noisy here. The noise doesn't really bother me that much, but if I'm going to be recording like my voice and stuff, then that would be an issue. And also, if people want to know what my current projects are, I'm playing Persona 3, Grandia 3, Final Fantasy 10, although I hate it, so I'm more dissing it. Partia, although I'm dissing that as well, and I'll probably make my own tactical game just to see if I can do it better. Persona 1, although I haven't played that very much recently, and Soul Blade, I would like to play through the Soul Mastering or whatever it is. I can't really remember, but I remember I love that game, and I have to play back through it. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Street Fighter Alpha 3 used to be one of my favorite games. Actually, Street Fighter Alpha 1, the mode where you tag team against Bison, is my favorite gameplay experience ever. It's great to do in groups or with just a friend. And the dramatic battle mode in Alpha 3 isn't that well. The PlayStation 1 version of Alpha 3 isn't as good. The PlayStation 2 version is supposed to be better, but I don't have the PlayStation 2 version of Alpha 3. So, yeah, too bad for that. I'm thinking, I like Street Fighter games in general, the series. I like Guilty Gear as well, but I only have the very first Guilty Gear on PlayStation 1. I think it's gone to insane levels when they talk about moves that you need to have need to respond within 1/60th of a second, because you need a progressive television just to be able to see that. I mean, normal televisions only update at 30 frames per second effectively because it's interlaced. So, even if it's in low resolution, it's just insane. I mean, 1/60th of a second reaction time. Mind you, for driving, like, reaction time is usually measured in 1/10 of a second. So you can understand, you know, That's just insane. Guilty Gear was always insane in terms of its speed, but I like that. Yeah, I like the characters in it and stuff too. Well, I'm gonna call that a day. This was supposed to be brief, but it's just